All right, welcome back to Martial Arts Insights. So today what we're going to be discussing is just a brief overview of the 7 main styles that are within this system, and then the 3 methods that we might use to implement those. So the first method that we're going to look at, or the first style that we're going to look at, is figure 8. It's just upward cutting like this, and as you notice, this is really an infinity symbol here because my florete at the end is on the outside edges. It's not on the top or bottom like this. So the 3 simple styles that we'll start with are really going to be predominantly one-handed styles. That means that both hands can actually do them together. Here, they can do them crossing and opposing like this. They can do them one right after the other, but it's still just a figure 8. This isn't any of our Sinawali patterns or drills that we're going to be looking at later, okay? So this figure 8 that we're doing here is on a horizontal line, right? I'm cutting down at an angle and then down at at the opposite, a perpendicular angle. So all of our figure 8 patterns are going to have perpendicular cutting. So it's down, down. This is actually called reverse figure 8. Regular figure 8 is going to be up, up, like this. So it's the exact same 8 on its side that downward figure 8 was. It's just cutting up instead. And as you can see, I don't have to have this extra little wrist turn when I'm cutting up. So typically reverse figure 8 will be follow after figure 8. When I do reverse figure 8, when I get to the bottom, I have to roll my sword to bring the tip back up to the top so I can cut down again like this. I don't have to do that here because it's ready to go ahead and cut as soon as I turn back. Okay, that 8 is horizontal. You can do the 8 on a diagonal like this, and that means that your cuts are going to be vertical and horizontal. So when I go down this way, I'm cutting across, down and across. So you can see the loop from my 8 is over here, and then it's over here on this side, here, down, across, down. This 8 also can, like all of them, can be done backwards. So it's this way, all right? I'm cutting up instead of down and across. That same 8, rather than being horizontal or diagonal, can be straight up and down. So when I cut down at a diagonal this way, I cut up on a perpendicular line this way. Down, up, down, up. That can be reversed. Down, up, down, up, down. And you can see I can cut up this way or this way. So I can let this hand turn over and cut my diagonal up like that. Okay, that's going to be your vertical 8 here. It can also be done angled this way. So before, when I did the angular 8, my looping patterns were on these 2 diagonals. This time they're going to be on these 2 diagonals. So I still can cut down and across, down and across, down, up and across. This can be reversed, up and across, up and across. So the combination of these should give you the ability to be able to cut on any angle that you want and any pattern that you want. The next is, instead of using perpendicular lines to cut down and then a perpendicular to that, we'll cut down and up on the same line, like that. That can be vertical, horizontal, diagonal. Just like before, you want to be sure that you're edge oriented when you're making your cut. So I cut through my target before I let my sword turn over to the other side. Cut through my target. Now I can turn it over to come back the other way. Same thing going down. I cut all the way through whatever I'm cutting down, and then I'll let my sword turn over. I cut up, and then I'll let my sword turn back over again, okay? So down, up, across this way, whichever direction that you want. So we'll follow, the figure 8s are going to be perpendicular, and the rompita is going to be same line, opposite direction, okay? So we also have an option to go same line, same direction. So these will be double zeros, right? So as I cut down here, I'll loop and I'll come over. Both hands can still do this like this. Both hands can do my double zero. Both hands can do double zero. Both hands can do this cutting here, right? So they don't even have to come in on the same line. They can go together. They can go opposite if I want to do cruzada here like this. Or they can take 2 different lines like that, right? Next, we start to get into our complex styles. For complex styles, we'll think of those as being 2-handed, but they could still be one-sided, right? So your complex styles are going to include Cob Cob, will be our very first one. It's kind of a funny name, but it's where everything comes in on the same side, right? So nothing crosses here, right? So if I go high, high, oh, we're going to start left. High, high, middle, low, low. High, high, middle, high, right? Well, you'll see this translated into empty hand. Might be when I might parry a jab, and I might move in here. So this is going to be high, high, low, low, high, high. So my jab, cross, hook, cross is still cob-cob. Nothing's coming in from the other side, right? Everything's coming in from the same side that it originated from. I strike from here. This is my right hand. It comes back to my right side. My left hand comes out, right? So I might be high, low, high, like this, okay? So that's going to be cob-cob. Everything, nothing crossing center line. Your Sinawali patterns in Filipino arts, some of them have different names, you know, single Sinawali, double Sinawali. You'll hear redonda or triple Sinawali or whatever. The number of Sinawalis, single, double, triple, is going to determine how many strikes are followed on one side before you switch sides. So if I'm single Sinawali, I hit one side over here. Well, now I hit one on the other side like this, right? It's just one here like this. And you can think of this as like a weaving pattern where you have some cross threads and your vertical threads go under one, over one, under one, over one. So I'm over, under, over, under. Right, so I'm hit one side, it's single Sinawali, so that means my second shot with the same hand comes back on the opposite side. Okay, I can go high, 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 low, low, high. These are all single Sinawali variations. Right, low, high, 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 low, low, like this, right? Like that, right? Pretty simple, pretty basic, okay? But this can be done two hands. Since we're talking on the subject here, I will make you mention of the fact that when you're doing your single Sinawali, this stick needs to come back up center line. I see this all the time. People make contact at the bottom, they let their stick trail out here and make high contact, low contact, the stick just trails. High contact, low contact. You will get hit in the face at some point. You do enough stick work, and the more times you get hit in the face, the more likely you are to pick the stick back up. So you might as well start with that habit and save yourself some pain. High, low, back up again, high, low. Even if I'm high, 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 like this, okay? Double Sinawali, okay? Well, single Sinawali application might just be something as simple as passing the arm or passing the arm over to come in for an arm bar, or even just lifting the arm out of the way so you can throw a liver shot here, or pulling it down, throw a head shot up over the top, right? Double Sinawali. It's going to have two beats on one side before it switches to the other. So typically you'll start in this chambered position, but realistically you should never wind up in this position like this because something is already coming out. So when I throw my shot right here, this is one shot on this side, second shot on this side, and now I return to the opposite side. So that's why it's double. 1, 2, opposite side. 1, 2, opposite side. Okay? You might see this translated empty hand like this. He throws jab cross, I parry. When I parry this cross with my left hand, I'm coming right up over the top with my right. That chambering is this, right? I'm just pushing this punch under and throwing right up over the top of it, okay? And I don't have to drive it, way down like this. I'm just opening up a line for me to shoot right up over the top, all right? That's going to be double Sinawali. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 is on the opposite side, okay? It can all go high line shots, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right? It can go high, low, high, low, high, right? It can go high, low, whatever. It doesn't make any difference. You can change those depending on what target is available to you at the time, okay? You can also do that in reverse. So instead of chambering underneath like this, you chamber over the top this way, right? So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 is on the opposite side. Cut, here. Then this chamber's back over top instead of underneath like this, right? This is really good for slipping crosses, right? Pairing here and throwing in underneath that other side like this. That'll give you your arm bar opportunities and some returns. Okay. Next, we'll look at triple Sinawali. Okay. Triple Sinawali is 1, 2, 3. 3 hits on the same side. 1, 2, okay? I see this all the time where folks will go 1, 2, and they let this stick come way behind their head when they're throwing this shot. You're much better off if you're at least blocking with this when you get ready to swing this other side through, right? So I got 1, 2 here. I'm protected from this line. 3, like that, okay? Remember, we don't wind up here. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, like this, okay? But I'm getting 3 shots on one side before I transition to the other side, okay? This is pretty funny. I love Vasily Lomachenko, man. He's my favorite boxer of all time. And you'll hear folks say that, you know, trapping hands doesn't work. These double, triple Sinawali patterns don't work. But you can go watch him and you can see him do it right in a boxing rink where it's supposed to be as hard as it could be anywhere, right? So he'll throw this and get the person to cover up. Now this is not what you open with, but if you can get the person to put their hands up, so he'll throw this punch, and then where does he go? Punch, grab, punch. All he's doing is he's throwing this punch, he's reaching across, grabbing his hand, pulling it down, and opening up this hook right over here on the other side like that. That's this exact same pattern. You know, where people make a mistake with this is they think that all 3 beats happen to one of their beats, which means I got to be 3 times as fast as him in order to be able to do this, right? But if my 1 beat is here, my 2 beat is a punch, right? Or I can parry and pick up the punch on the other side, right? Or jam the hand into them with my second movement like this, right? I can go reverse Sinawali, and when I parry this, I can jam the other hand like this, right? So I'm pinning the hand to the chest, and now I just clear this hand out of the way and throw my hook right over top of it. So you'll see here, pull, hook. That's 3 shots on the same side, right? 1, 2, 3, right? Happens all the time, man. If you don't recognize it, you don't know what you're looking for, you're not going to be able to see it. But these techniques are all applicable, and you'll see them in lots of different fighting arenas, you know, all around. So don't dismiss them just because you don't see how it's applicable now, because the application will come as your skill increases and your awareness increases of what it is that you're actually seeing. You know, you would never look at this thing right here that Lomachenko does and think, oh, well, that's just, you know, triple Sinawali. I mean, who thinks that, right? But that's sure enough what it is. When he throws this punch right here, he's on this side of the body, right? He's punched here, reaches across, grabs that hand and pulls that down. That's 3 beats right here on one side. 1, 2, 3, right? He could just as easily parry this down and move right back in on the other side. But he's got enough tricks up his sleeve. He doesn't need any help from me. All right, thank you guys very much for checking us out. You know, same routine as always. Please remember, like, subscribe, share. Anything you can do to help me get promoted and get my stuff out there, that'd be great. I really appreciate that. All right, y'all have a good day. Take care.